When discussing addiction, many simply see it as one's inability to say no. On July 18th and 25th in McEwen Hall, students from the UOC's Faculty of Nursing, along with the Students' Union, the Women's Resource Center, and the SU Wellness Center examined the many stigmas associated with addiction with the first Addictions 101 campaign.
Addictions 101 is just a project that the nursing students at UC kind of put together so we can talk about the stigma behind addiction and drugs and whatnot, just because there's this shadow that kind of covers it. And when people start talking about it, they have these old stereotypes and misconceptions of what it is. And we're just trying to normalize it, because that's almost one of the steps that we've learned, that in order for addicts and whatnot to start retrieving help and stay healthy, you got to kind of get rid of that stigma, and it kind of helps a lot. So we talk about the biology, the economics, the psychology, the sociology behind addictions, and just try to give it a little bit of education to just some people.
What we're trying to reinforce here is that it's not necessarily the substance or the process that somebody's addicted to, it's actually the chemical change in their brain that they're addicted to. So I can just explain what that means. If we look at the functioning of a regular person, they actually have fluctuations in their dopamine. So dopamine controls our incentive, our rewards, motivation, our pleasure. So when we have things that are pleasurable, our dopamine increases, and we all have natural decreases as well. So these things in small amounts, they increase the dopamine in a regular way. But when we look at somebody that is an addict, when they use these substances, they use them in excess, and we see a spike in their dopamine levels. And then as they use over time, we see them beginning to function down here, so that they're using not even to get that high, they're using just to maintain their daily lives. When we look at receptors in the brain for dopamine, when we flood ourselves with excess amounts of these, our brain says, I don't need so many receptors, I've got a ton of dopamine, and it actually shuts some of those off. So then it takes more and more and more for that addict, for that brain, to actually get that high, which by the end isn't even a high for them.
Raising that awareness and education around it will allow hopefully people on this campus just more a greater understanding of why people go to those, whatever it is that they're addicted to, whether that's substance or pornography or gambling or whatever it is, kind of like figuring out and understanding what's at the bottom of it. And I think that's
for NUTV, I'm Kristen Muncy.
And just get people understanding the core at what is that addiction.